Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you once again. Thank you for everything you do by the way of self-mastery, service, and assistance of others. Our presentation today is Meditation in Depth 16. And meditation is the key and central practice of spirituality and for the mastery of life. Much progress can be made when meditation is practiced daily. Is it okay to meditate in a position other than being seated? When should I meditate? How much should I meditate? Is it good to meditate immediately before doing other Rosicrucian exercises? Can the increased sensitivity developed through meditation help me heal? Can meditation heal a wounded heart? Can meditation help me to be a more of a healing presence for others? These common and not so common questions will be discussed as we continue to explore how meditation makes for the most direct and sure-wise counsel in our daily lives. I'd like to show you a particular image that'll help set the stage for our meditation period and presentation today. It's a work entitled Die Cathedral, or the Cathedral. It dates from around 1818. It's oil on canvas, and it's by the renowned Romantic 19th century painter Caspar David Friedrich. The size of the work is approximately 157.5 centimeters by 70.5 centimeters. There's a stress on verticality, which will tie in with how we ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum. There's a lot of intriguing symbolism and visual effects in this work, including the Gothic arch that is used for the beautiful golden frame. Now, the idea of a cathedral is something of great import in that it reminds us in its etymology, or the word derivation, which means cathedral comes from cathedra, the throne. The Latin, the cathedral is the throne of the bishop. The bishop in the Christian tradition is a one who's been initiated or follows the authority of the apostles, passed from bishop to bishop down through the ages. The Rosicrucian order is not a religion, but being a mystical order, you have a lot of deep insights into spirituality and its expression along formal religious channels and otherwise. The Rosicrucian tradition again allows us to have universal laws and principles to assist us in understanding all things, including sacred traditions of the world and the temples of the world. You know, there's a lot of intriguing aspects of this work. I'll show you some more of it, and some resonances with the mystical exercise that we're about to do. On the left, we find pen and ink sketch by a past imperator, a past chief executive officer of the Rosicrucian Order at Amwork, H. Spencer Lewis. My work is entitled The Cathedral of the Soul, and you can see a person, could be a student of the Rosicrucian Order, by a great hearth or fire, and they're reading their monograph. They're reading as something of spiritual import, and they're attuning with the cosmic. And you can see how there's, from the hearth, the fireplace, there's an inner visualization of the celestial sanctum, which will rise too soon, and may be pictured as a Gothic cathedral or another type of temple or inspiring place in nature. We see suggestion of our home sanctum in the Rosicrucian tradition by having the two candles side by side. The way we see a symbolic diagram here of attuning with the cosmic, applying the instructions of the booklet Liber 777 to rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum and enter into cosmic communion. The heat of the fire below suggests too the transmutation that takes place in our hearts through our growing and learning as students in life. Now, also, there's various other residences here. These are thinking of particular Rosicrucian students. These are not, these are later images that weren't directly available to Caspar David Friedrich, but he was inspired by Rosicrucians before him. On the right, you recall, of course, this beautiful image of the Cathedral of the Soul by the Rosicrucian artist and painter and illustrator Nicomedes Gomez. You see, each artist has used the cathedral, the idea of the temple, suggests rising to the heights of celestial sanctum, communing with the divine within. We'll notice the great radiations of light in each one. Here on the left of the sketch, Cathedral of the Soul, but here radiating light going forth. And you see how the clouds have been formed in a concentric form to associate that somewhat like the concentric rings around where the dove is descending for our enlightenment from the heights of the Cathedral of the Soul, the great rays, radiations of rays going forth, suggested by the other two works as well. That's inspired by these points. Let's go in a little closer on the central work of art, the cathedral, and see a little bit more what's going on there in detail. You notice here's a close-up, and we can see the angels around the cross, and above them they have a rainbow. There's various beautiful mystical symbols of a rainbow. For example, after the great voyage of Noah and humanity on the ark, there was a rainbow seen as a covenant between the divine and the human, a way of communing that would always be available to us. You see the 9 angels around the cross, and if we zoom in a little closer, we'll see that at the very center of the cross, there's an important symbol that we know as Rosicrucians and through other traditions. You can see there's a triangle pointing upward. The Rosicrucians you see is on the rising up from the finite plane to the infinite plane with radiations going forth from there. It's a very holy period, recognizing Christ consciousness, the cosmic consciousness. You see the angels are in the clouds. They're suggesting they're in the heavenly abode, somewhat like we'll rise up to when we do our meditation period. It's a very holy, peaceful, calming, inspiring presence of the angels, the angelic beings within our that we contact in our own state of cosmic consciousness, and symbolically the angelic being that conveys to us as the master within. Also, if we rise up higher in the work, we see the inspiring heights of the cathedral. The cathedral was dedicated as the heavenly city spoken of in the book of Revelation. It ascended on earth. So they experience the cosmic to emulate the cosmic for the well-being of all. As we continue on it, we rise up higher and higher, see the subtle craftsmanship, extremely high skill in cutting in stone. Each of the cathedrals that I've shown you in the 3, they've drawn on various elements of Gothic cathedrals during the medieval period form. For Caspar David Friedrich, he wanted to strongly stress the deep inner spirituality that the human could come into. It was part of his inspiration and guidepost as an artist. We see too around the arch, the two arcs of a circle come the 2 different arcs, but then come to a point, and we see the flora designs as part of the symbolism on the frame. The frame is made much like you'd see in a Gothic window, and we're looking out the window to this inspiring image in a way suggestive of the divine within us. We'll come back now to the whole work, and we'll take its inspiration for our period of meditation now. I invite you, when you're ready, close your eyes, feeling uplifted. Just take some deep, neutral breaths, neither holding the inhalation nor holding the exhalation. Just enjoy the rhythm of the breath, coming and going of the breath, the action, somewhat like being by a lake shore or a seashore or an ocean shore, and the waves coming up lapping by the shoreline. I invite you to breathe a little more deeply than usual, to the degree comfortable, and especially to extend your exhalation longer than your inhalation, to the degree comfortable for you. With that deeper breath, you'll feel more of the vital life force and this positive polarity, the cosmic essence, coming in and charging your holy temple. And at the same time as we extend our exhalation, we'll feel automatically the relaxation response occur. We'll feel a calming effect. And with each extended exhalation, we'll feel a cumulative effect, a building effect that's very enriching, very healing, a wonderful tonic. Just continue to let go and enjoy the gentle rhythms of the breath. We're applying here the law of purification, the law of duality, the law of polarity, indirectly the law of cosmic attunement. Just continue to enjoy this process. Just be receptive to your impressions. Soon we'll rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum. For now, just be in the present with the breath. Letting go of the cares of the day. Inspired by the cathedral images of you and their great deep spiritual import. Reminding us of the holy temple that our body is, housing a mighty master within, or divine within, our true nature. Let's just go with the breath. Incoming the breath, you may wish to feel a spiritualization occurring, increasing presence of the master within. I invite you to ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum, following the instructions, the booklet Liber 777, which will give you resources on later on in the presentation. I invite you now to use all your psychic ability, all your imaginative capacity. Picture yourself rising up from your home, your office, wherever you're situated. See the building below you, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. See now your neighborhood below you, your town or your city, your local geographic area below you, the system in order. Keep rising up faster and faster. So we're up now over your county, even your province or state. Now even your great country or nation. See below the weather systems, the landforms, the water systems. You need to rise up faster and faster. Over the continent where you dwell, even the hemisphere. Let us now go faster and faster than the speed of light, seeing the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, great fiery ball of the sun, and the elliptical orbits of our planets, of our solar system. As we head out, rising up higher and higher past myriad stars and stellar phenomena, quasars, the pulsars, even Even the black holes are sensed, helping balance the universe as we rise up higher and higher in the great arm, the Milky Way galaxy, our local home. Let us rise even right out of the Milky Way galaxy and look back at it as it rotates about the center, situated in a great black hole. See the beauty of its movements. Let us look up at the other galaxies and nebulae and stars. Keep rising up faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time now and move from the finite plane to the infinite plane. And let us apply the law of correspondence as we rise higher and higher. Let us go deeper and deeper within ourselves. The master within, the divine within. And hear now the music of the spheres, the harmony of the cosmos, the great music of the divine, all the harmonious actions, following octave after octave of the great cosmic keyboard the Rosicrucians speak of. Everything is manifesting now in a great sea of vibrations throughout our being and all around us, united with us. We keep rising higher and higher, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. When we rise higher and higher, at a certain point, I think you'll find you're sensing such a stupendous rotation of the universe about its great cosmic axis, spoken of since ancient times by mystics and philosophers. Stupendous action of the cosmos, everything in harmony and exactitude, precision and accuracy. Let us be in awe of the great expanse, suggesting the inner cosmic vastness. And let us come closer and closer to the great cosmic axis, speeding towards its midpoint. When we get close to it, let us slow up and take position there at the center of the cosmos, at the center of our being. Let us be still for a while, taking in the beauty of the divine cosmos, experiencing what Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic, the universal intelligence back of the cosmos, and the working of all natural and spiritual laws. Let us dwell in silence and in awe. Let us continue to follow the instructions of the booklet Liber 777 and picture our personal celestial sanctum. It might be the cathedral of the soul, like the artworks that we saw, or maybe some other temple. A Rosicrucian temple, or an inspiring place in nature by a seashore on a high hill or mountaintop, or in a sacred grove. Just fill in the sights and sounds of this visualization. Experience the exhilaration of being able to do this. The special act of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amok. May wish to picture other seekers at the heights of your celestial sanctum. Visible and invisible masters working with us. Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order Amok, including the Imperator, who may be conducting special convocation ritual. You may wish to be seated at the heights of your celestial sanctum as you fill in the sights and sounds. Deep spiritual experience. You may wish to remember some of your most inspiring experiences back on earth. Visualize them, feel them now, resonating, vibrating with your celestial sanctum. You wish to picture incense burning, rising up like a law of transmutation just like we rose up to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Give you beautiful stained glass windows or other artworks depicting Rosicrucian laws and principles, like a great compendium of all knowledge in our personal celestial sanctum. And when you're ready, release your visualization through the subconscious mind into the cosmic mind. Let us dwell in the most profound form of peace, peace profound. And in silence as we continue to let go, surrender, and be receptive to the divine within. Now. You find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the discipline of the breath. Focus on being in personal celestial sanctum, the center of the cosmos, center of your being. Enjoy the enrichment. Just feel all there is to feel. And continue to surrender and be receptive. Let the increasing awareness of the master within, the divine within, continue. And let us continue our meditation by undertaking another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amor. I invite you to participate with me now in the work of the silent counsel in conjunction with the counsel of solace. Let us radiate love and well-being to all those who have petitioned Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Amor for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being from the depths of our being to all those who have petitioned the affiliate bodies of the Rosicrucian Order Amor for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the love and well-being flow like a great floodlight or searchlight going out to fill the cosmos. A great flowing forth, moving out with tremendous rapidity. to reach all in need. Feel the exhilaration of the flow, just like we felt the exhilaration of rising to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Choose great inner spiritual force to let the radiations continue. Picture the love and well-being filling the cosmos. For all in need. At a certain point, I think you'll find you no longer need to make any outer conscious effort for the flow of the love and well-being to continue. And indeed, you can speed up and you'll know you're reaching those in need. When that happens, just surrender and let the flow continue at the heights of the celestial sanctum, the center of your being, one with the divine mind. Soon we'll formally close this period work of the silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace. But assured that the radiations of love and well-being will continue out from us, the depths of our being, as a way of life on the mystical path and building self-mastery. We'll continue our meditation period a while longer. To formally close this period of sending a metaphysical aid, I invite us to say together now, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Let us continue to dwell in the heights of the celestial sanctum a while longer. Can you just surrender, being one with the one, assuming the cosmic mind, being the cosmic mind, now. Soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. This time we may wish to invoke the law of gratitude, which automatically intensifies the application of the law of cosmic attunement that we've been applying. This time we may wish to express gratitude to all those who have loved us and love us, to all those who have sacrificed on our behalf, to all those who have taught us well. We radiate our love and well-being to them. Now let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. moving at tremendous speed, in the myriad galaxies and clusters of galaxies and superclusters of galaxies, spiraling galaxies in their various forms, the nebula, the myriad stellar phenomena, quasars and the pulsars, the black holes helping to balance the universe. Wonder and awe, great system and order of the cosmos, reflecting the great system and order, the cosmos within us, the microcosm. Speeding faster and faster back towards our Milky Way galaxy, enjoying the exhilaration of the descent. You'll see in the distance the Milky Way galaxy, and let us plunge into our arm where we dwell, past the myriad stars and asteroids and comets, rogue planets, nebulae, the interstellar web connecting the stars and galaxies. And see in the distance our solar system, the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star, the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, our planet and home. Let's come back to the hemisphere where we left off. Continent, great nation, country, province or state, county where we left off, our city or local geographic area, our neighborhood. I invite you to say with me now, again, another act of application of law, purification. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And let us continue to ascend on our home or building or dwelling, the room where we left off and however we're situated, lying down or seated or otherwise, feeling remade, regenerated, rested, and re-energized. All the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian order, now and always. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch, arching your back and stretching out your arms and moving your fingers and open your eyes, or however you wish to refocus your consciousness, still imbued with the cosmic mind and cosmic consciousness, back all forms of consciousness. Thank you, everyone. Now we'll go over a series of questions pertaining to our topic, meditation in depth. We've just had a period of meditation, so we've had a firsthand direct experience of what meditation is and how enriching and ennobling and healing it is, not only for ourselves, but for others. The first question is it okay to meditate in a position other than being seated? The answer is yes. Now, it's good to have opportunities to meditate seated. But if we're a little more tired or we find it particularly effective, it's okay to meditate lying down or for recuperating. I know so often one may have heard, well, you need to meditate sitting up, having your spine upright. It's important to have our spine straight so we can breathe in an unencumbered fashion. But with the Rosicrucian teachings in general, one can experiment and see what works best for oneself. It's often helpful too if when we're waking up in the morning or waking up in the middle of the night, use that as an opportunity to meditate, and that's be restive, whether we go back to sleep or not. I know sometimes it's said about, well, if I lie down to meditate, I may fall asleep. Yes, that can happen, but it'll be a very enriching sleep. And also it tends to suggest that we are sleep deprived in any event. So, and also we can use meditation, whether it's seated or otherwise, to catch up in our sleep, because meditation has the wonderful actions I think you're experiencing now. Not only is it re-energizing, but it's also highly restive in its action. So yes, it's okay to experiment in however one wants to be positioned in doing the meditation, as long as one can do it in a way that one feels safe and one feels can breathe in an unencumbered fashion. But it's also good to at least have some of your meditation periods where the spine is upright, because that can be particularly effective. Now, it can be asked, when should I meditate? Again, this is up to one's own personal uh, lifestyle and what's particularly is effective for you. So one can experiment and decide what works best. But often it's effective to have at least a brief period of meditation, if not a longer one, when rising in the morning, or even when one's becoming awake, even lying in bed to meditate. And then another period midday after we've been sort of roughed up a little bit or challenged of the day. It's a soothing period for meditation. And then have a period of meditation before retiring for sleep to aid in the meditative nature of sleep, in the spiritual actions of sleep, but also having a good night's rest with our needed duration will also help us to meditate better. And indeed, a meditation allows us to have often, you'll find if you've meditated for an hour during the day that you'll need an hour's less sleep, but you can see what works best for you. In addition to set times of the day, we can meditate when we particularly feel the need to do so. For example, when we're starting to feel overwhelmed, or we're starting to feel disharmony in the body and mind, or when we need guidance in deciding on some matter. In other words, let's use the meditation as very, very practical. The Rosicrucian way of life is very down to earth and very lofty at the same time. It may be asked too, well, how much should I meditate? Again, you can experiment and see what's best for yourself and your commitments and duties. 1 hour per day can be particularly helpful, a guideline for formal meditation periods in one's home sanctum when possible. But one can add to those times by, for example, when you're feeling particularly in need of meditation, as I mentioned earlier, if you're feeling overwhelmed, particularly anxious, or there's a pressing decision that needs to be made in a timely fashion, even if you can turn inward for a few moments, 15 seconds, half a minute or so, several minutes, those are all valuable times to be meditating. Now, you can also view this as if you're meditating 3 times a day formally. You suggested like in the morning, midday, afternoon. You can add up those times for the hour or more that you're doing. And also when you're doing Rosicrucian exercises, that may be the overall exercise, which is essentially a form of meditation, or concentrating on certain places in the body that we learn that are psychic centers, doing vowel sounds. Those exercises of the Rosicrucians, of those type and many more, even visualization, tend to have a meditative quality, especially when you get used to doing them. And the time doing them can all be added towards, working towards having an hour of meditation each day or longer. You can also follow this, one of the special things that happen in meditation, and we know this from our Rosicrucian studies, our own personal observation of being sensitive while meditating, but also from scientific studies, that when we meditate, our heart rate slows up. Our heart becomes more efficient. And each heartbeat's duration varies. So we have a heart rate variability and move into an optimal heart rate variability. And you soon start to realize how our heart is resting between beats. And that way is a model for our life. The wisdom of the holy temple of the body has many lessons on how it can operate in our life. That to work most efficiently, it can seem like there's a way we're taking things in a very calm way, but we can work more efficiently because we have more attentional control. We don't have to repeat things as much. When instructions are given or when we're observing, we get things the first time. Also, all our faculties are working together: memory, the imagination, our creativity, deductive, inductive reasoning. Everything is done more efficiently, And we have more times to take a break in between tasks, just like the heart takes a break in between beats. And that way we actually enjoy what we're doing more, come into joy even more. We find more and more how work is the basis of living, along with communion. The Rosicrucian referred to as work and worship. And in this manner, we're more efficient by taking proper breaks and maintaining that meditative state. Can also be asked in regard to this, well, at that rate, aren't we meditating all the time? And yes, we are. And you can see you can have the formal periods of meditation, but you can also use the momentum from those periods of meditation, especially when we, for example, have a practice like standing the exhalation and spiritualize it with a sense of the presence of the Mass divine within coming, intensifying with each in-breath. We can find that we can do our daily chores and activities, and then become like meditation becomes a way of life, so that we're meditating all the time, and we have a greater capacity to appreciate and be of service in this manner. Now, the next question is it good to meditate immediately before doing other Rosicrucian exercises? Yes, it is. You notice how, for example, during our meditation period, we included a spiritual operation of sending a metaphysical aid. Now, one can turn it inward and immediately start sending metaphysical aid, but it can be helpful to do that when we've ascended to the heights of the celestial sanctum, or when we're feeling meditation quite deeply, because we're all the more in a state to radiate the love and well-being. We're all the more attuned with the divine within them. Also, that goes for all the Rosicrucian exercises. You can have a period of meditation beforehand. It tends to add an efficacy. However, I think you'll also find that if you go directly into doing exercises, the Rosicrucians, in addition to meditation, such as concentrating in various psychic centers and endocrine glands in the bodies and bowel sounds, for example, but the activity soon becomes very meditative in its nature as well. But it can be very valuable to have a meditation period, even for 5 minutes before doing other exercises, and it can all be deemed as an extended period of meditation. Part of the value of meditation, not only for doing the Rosicrucian exercise, but speaking with others, being with others, and everything we're doing in life, is we become increasingly sensitive. And then we're more aware of what we're doing and what's happening, and we're more able to be in the present. Next question is, and related to what I just mentioned, can the increased sensitivity developed through meditation help heal me? The answer is yes. Now, one might be surprised at first, like saying, well, I'm in pain. I really don't want to get more sensitive, because that means I'm going to feel this pain some more. Well, the Rosicrucians know that pain is a sign for action. It's pointing out something. It's a symptom that leads us back to a cause. But it's also, we know that pain, one of the great effects that Rosicrucians know and have been studied scientifically in more recent years, is that meditation helps reduce our pain, or has pain reduction. Also, when we're more sensitive, we're more aware of things in their early stages, and we can act more easily than before the cause has had a chance to build up more, and takes more work to undo in the healing process. Also, that increased sensitivity allows more of the vital life force to be channeled to that area that's in pain, but also towards the cause of the pain. And that helps heal us as well, or makes us whole as well. Now, it's true that where a pain may or may not be the place where the cause is originating, but that increased creativity and increased capacity to use reasoning, both deductive and inductive, increased memory and drawing on insights of the Master within, will all give us insights as to the cause of the healing. It even will help us attune not only ourselves, but our caregivers or our health professionals we're working with, so they can also be inspired as to the cause of our ailment and how to proceed. Another question related to this one, but in a little more pointed way, is, can meditation heal a wounded heart? Now, there's many senses in which this question could be taken. In the very literal sense of our physical heart, yes, we've been shown that through our Rosicrucian teachings, through practices, I think your own experiences, also randomized controlled trials in the more recent decades, is that the practice of meditation has many healing applications for the heart. The slowing up of the heart, in an optimal way, reaching towards the optimal heart rate variability that allows the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems to work well in balancing, guiding us through our life, like steering two handlebars, the two polarities on a bicycle, are like the two polarities of those two nervous systems come into the autonomic balance that helps have a general healing effect, but also for our heart. You can also take it more in an emotional and psychic way. Many of the exercises of the Rosicrucians deal with the psychic heart, with a great seat of emotions, a great place for sensing the dynamic impressions of a psychic nature higher and higher up in the octaves of the cosmic keyboard. And that, yes, in a way, fundamentally, to be human is to be wounded. And that will be through the psychic heart. But the practice of meditation takes us deeper and deeper into the great healer, the divine within, the master within, the great repairer, in its cosmic wisdom and all knowledge. And that will also, in the wounding of the heart, we can then be much more compassionate, caring towards others. And we see that our life opens up. Indeed, it reminds me in the book Cosmic Mission Fulfilled by past Imperator Ralph M. Lewis, a biography of the previous Imperator, H. Spencer Lewis. It mentions that sometimes he would stand by an open window and he would see children parading across, and there'd be tears coming down his eyes and there'd be a prayer on his lips because he felt very deeply the sensitivity through the heart and knew the challenges of life for them. But he radiated love and well-being and prayer for them in completing their mission in life. In this way, as we reach out in our knowledge of woundedness, we heal our heart and can help in the healing of others. And we come into the rose quartz state, a state of cosmic communion, more easily have a rapport with the cosmic, or attune with the cosmic when we need, through the heart, the mind, and our whole nature. And this is the part of the great healing in life, and the overall purpose of life as we come into mystical union, the final stage of spiritual development. And the next question is, the final one I have for you, is can meditation help me to be more of a healing presence for others? And emphatically, yes. This reminds me of some of my colleagues who are very involved with psychotherapy. And we work together in research. There's a term that they use, and I think some of you are very familiar with, called therapeutic alliance, or sometimes it's referred to as working alliance. In psychology, some of you are very familiar with scales for anxiety or depression, and there's one for therapeutic alliance where a patient or a client can fill out a questionnaire that's on a Likert scale, and then they can add up their scores, and they get a score or measure of therapeutic alliance. And that is the single most strong predictive of factor in the healing and the increasing of health through psychotherapy. And part of this therapeutic alliance is a lesson also for us as mystics. It's one we've known since time immemorial, because in a way, mystics were the early forerunners of psychologists in developing our self-consciousness and guiding others in developing the cosmic consciousness. And many mystics, and I know some of you are psychologists, combine wonderfully your Rosicrucian teachings with your psychological experience and knowledge. And this is a wonderful thing for healing. But this therapeutic alliance can also apply to all of the health professions where there's a debt of profound commitment or to another's healing. And we can follow that great spirit or general spirit of the therapeutic alliance, extend it as a way of life, as a mystic in our application healing. You note, we ascended to the heights of the celestial sanctum. We radiated love and well-being. That was in part through a charge of the past Imperator, Christian Bernard's, admonish us to always, when we rise and up to the heights of celestial sanctum, have periods of meditation, include a period of sending of metaphysical aid, of giving back. But also Rosicrucians allude many other ways of healing. One is called contact healing that can be done for our family, but for others under certain special conditions. Also, we know that many mystics have been quite inspiring in the healing tradition. For example, the formative figure in the development of the nursing profession and even public health, Florence Nightingale, was a mystic. And when their operations were being conducted on young soldiers in the Crimea, the soldiers learned of her great healing presence, and they would request her to be with them. And they found it very calming and soothing as they went through the operation, particularly in those days when there wasn't so much directly in terms of pain reduction methods. So too with ourselves, through our calming nature, having healed our heart, having attuned with the cosmic, having looked in a sense of that deepest form of love, the agape, through the cosmic experience, and directing that towards others. There's a healing radiation from our aura that goes out to others, just as we've experienced those very mature ones who heal us. Indeed, in a way, we're all called to be assisting the healing of others. And this is done through the strength, the health, and the increased capacity to radiate love that we have for our Rosicrucian lessons, through the practice of meditation and centering on the divine within. In this way is one of the profound lessons that we can assist in the healing of others through the one universal soul. And the full experience of that soul is healing for all others and gives us a healing presence